We'd finally made it to Greece. After 5 months, starting from France, we were now in the last country of the trip. Originally, we'd been set to go to Istanbul. Actually, I think at one point our original destination was like India. No wait, actually it was Japan. Anyway, so we got to Greece and we had set to get ourselves to Athens in about a month. I'll make a video about the planning of this trip probably, or rather how not to plan a trip, but I think it's a good topic for further discussion for people who want to travel like this. Or maybe you shouldn't follow the way that we do it because it's pretty random, I suppose, how we planned it. I'd been to Greece a few times when I was a kid and then when I was in my late teens as well, but I'd always been to the islands, mostly Crete, I think to Kos as well. So I was super pumped to travel to the mainland and experience something totally different. It was a nice chill cycle to the border, still riding off that high of coming down from the mountains in Bulgaria. Rolling.
Hello. Hello.
Wait.
So today we crossed the border from Bulgaria to Greece, and it's the first time that my identity has been questioned when I showed my French ID card. The picture was taken 10 years ago. The man asked me to remove my helmet, and then he asked me if I had any remarks. It was very awkward. It was very awkward. Yes, but look at this view, it's beautiful, and we're looking forward to visiting and getting to learn to know Greece. And the first concern is, as always, accommodation. And that's our only concern, really. Thunderstorms? Thunderstorms. But it looks good. It looks good for now. And we can use euros again! Woohoo!
I have to say that the border crossing was pretty shit. It was the only checkpoint that doesn't have a big welcome to insert country name. We thought that this piece of shit sign for Romania wasn't great, but it's still better than nothing at all. We travelled through some small towns and I was instantly struck by how buzzing everything was. It was a Saturday, but still for very tiny places, it just felt like there was a huge social vibe going on, with a million cafes everywhere. A top recommendation is to use Duolingo for learning the Greek alphabet. Like most places, you'll be able to get by with English, but it's super handy to be able to convert the Greek alphabet to Roman and then translate it from there. After a month, I was pretty confident with doing that and it definitely helped a lot. So, Kalimera, biatch!
Γεγονός.
Το βεβαιωνιός.
Το γεγονός.
Το βεβαιωνιός.
Σίγμα.
Sigma. Το καΐο βελονός. The good fact. I remember that. Turns out Greek is still really difficult. We were in Greek Macedonia. Obviously do not confuse that with North Macedonia, which is right next to it. It's extremely beautiful, it's quiet, hardly any traffic, and there's something about the light, especially at this time of year, that gives off a beautiful orange and purple haze. We were loving cycling up the mountains just north of Ceres. It was quite hard, but to be honest, by this point in the trip, we were so used to the physical challenges that not much fazed us. We decided to take advantage of the solitude and find the spot to camp. There were quite a lot of farms and ridiculous dogs kicking about everywhere that followed the goat herders, so we were keen to find a good place away from any grazing areas and hidden from the road. I'd love to say that by this point I was confident with wild camping, but I still find it very stressful. Not knowing where you're going to be camping for the night, and also the fear of getting caught, is just something that I don't find particularly easy to do. If you did get caught though, the people in Greece are so sound that they probably just invite you to their house for some food, or ask you lots of questions and then just let you get on with it. but in my paranoid mind, it's like instant stabbing is the consequence of getting caught. Obviously, we didn't get stabbed and had a spectacular sunset to enjoy on top of the mountains.
Kalimera.
The next morning, we cruised down the mountains to the city of Ceres, if that's how you pronounce it, I don't really know. Being a Sunday, everything was closed, which made getting food and planning a bit more hectic, but there were still like a million heaving cafes though, and we found a good place for coffee and juice, then cycled about and found a takeaway place for breakfast. We ordered 2 sort of burek style pastries, spinach and cheese and all that good stuff, pizza slices for lunch, and then they also gave us 2 chicken burger pies, I think, for free, which was super kind of them. And we didn't ask or anything, it was just like, they just saw the bikes and were like, hey, have a chicken pie. Back on the road, we managed to buy some supplies, and we also found this convenient tap to try and wash ourselves since we'd been wild camping the night before. Washing by the side of the road is just one of those classy experiences you get from bike touring. You really can't beat it. At this stage, we didn't really have a plan on what direction to take. Well, I suppose that had roughly been the case for the whole trip, but what I'm trying to say is that we heard that Lake Kerkini was nice and figured we'd be able to camp nearby. It meant that we'd miss going to Thessaloniki, but since you usually waste so much time getting in and out of cities, and now nearing the end of the trip, we were a bit more conscious of what we wanted to do and the time we had to do it. It made more sense to head north to the lake. It was really nice though, and a great decision. It's part of a natural reserve and a top spot for bird watching. We had a lovely lunch by the lake, ate our pizza slices and chilled out watching the sheepdogs following the herd and then coming up to us for potential food, which was top-notch entertainment, I have to say. At least for us, because we're obsessed with dogs. Back on the road, we continued following the lakeside, keeping an eye out for wild camping spots, but there really wasn't much about until we came right to the end of the lake. It was such a nice evening and we luckily found a place without too much bother. It was nice to just relax by the lake in the evening, looking at the mountain ridge that makes the border between Greece and North Macedonia. Once other people left the area and the sun started to go down, we climbed a small mound and then set up the tent. It was pretty hidden away but a bit close to the road for me, so I tended to wake up quite a lot when cars passed by. I don't know if I'll ever get used to wild camping abroad. In Scotland, I hardly get bothered at all, but it's properly legal here and I know the lay of the land a bit more and what's okay and what's not and how I deal with it if I did get caught. You don't have to wild camp when you're bike touring, but it will save you a lot of money and it gives you totally unique experiences, so I don't regret us doing it, even if I didn't get too much actual sleep when we did. And in this case, we were treated to an absolutely stunning view of the sun setting on our first few days bike touring through Greece. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed our first video of us cycling through Greece. If you have any comments, please put them below. I'd love to hear from you, and if you are enjoying this, make sure you subscribe so you get next week's episode on Wednesday as usual. Thank you. Kalinichta.